Welcome back to Daily Discussion. So I caught a clip of a coaching session earlier, and this guy was talking to another guy who had said something to the effect of he is a perfectionist, and the coach had kind of called him out and said, "Look, that's the kind of language you have to stop using, and using the words 'I am' and identifying as this perfectionist is actually what's ended up limiting this guy, right?" And the reason being is that when you identify something like that, you tend to pigeonhole yourself into acting that way on a regular basis rather than changing the terminology and the words you use around it and say, I have perfectionistic tendencies or something to that effect, because then you're giving yourself leeway to not be that at times, which then can lead you to moving away from doing that altogether. Now, if you noticed the other day, I talked about how I'm not very good at quotes. So that's kind of a similar thing. But I also made that an intentional thing because I don't want to be good at quotes. That's not how I want to be. That's not how I want to learn. That's not the type of person I want to be. I like the fact that I take information, take quotes, internalize and change them the way I want to, remember them the way I want to remember them, and then use them in that manner. I don't want to be that guy that can just remember quotes. I want to be the guy who can remember information and be able to utilize it, not just tell you what somebody else said and not understand it myself. So that's why I did it that way. I did it with intention. So I'm really paying attention to this, the way I talk about myself and the way I talk around other people. Now, I'm not perfect at it by no stretch of the imagination. I do slip up from time to time. I'll catch myself saying different things, but I try to get back on track or change that tone or the way I say it or the phrase or the phrasing of it so that I get back to where I want to be rather than what I'm doing in that moment. So if this is something that you haven't paid attention to, this is one of the quickest ways you can start moving towards some of those changes you might not have been able to get to in the past, is by changing the way you identify yourself. And if you start catching yourself saying, I am, or this is how I always do things, using kind of like catch-all terms like that, change it to I have a tendency to, or I do this frequently, because then you can alter that frequency. So let me know if this helps you out at all, and if you want to have any conversations over this.